Hey everybody, we are back with another week of Thoughts from the Man Cave, episode 3. Want to kind of tell you guys why this one took a little bit longer for me to do. It's quite frankly because I was a turd the first couple days of this week and was kind of in my feelings and, failed my family a little bit and failed kind of my responsibilities. Didn't have a very good night on Tuesday night, and it spilled over into Wednesday morning, which wasn't good because then I kind of unintentionally took it out on the kids and my wife, which is never good to do. And it also happened to be her birthday, so I totally turded up her birthday, and so I had to spend a couple days kind of getting right so that I could give you guys the message that I wanted to give you. First off, like I do every week, I did receive a prayer request in the comments, so I want to go ahead and do that. To the family and friends of Brad Fontana. Brad is someone that I never met, just a few years younger than me, and passed away unexpectedly this last week. And so just want to send up prayers for Brad's family and his friends. I know that was a very untimely passing. Don't know what happened, but our thoughts and prayers are with you guys. So that's somebody you guys can add to your prayer list for this week. Just want to go ahead and kind of kick this whole thing off by the experience that I had this week and kind of let everybody know that it's okay to not be okay. And on the surface, this sounds like, well, of course, because everybody's not okay all the time, right? But I know a lot of times as men for sure, and I could speak to that, we don't always want to talk to somebody about our problems. It's not the manly thing to do. It's not the macho thing to do. And so sometimes we just let it manifest and manifest. And then someone we love or some people we love, care about, they get hurt because of our actions. That's what happened with me this week. As single moms, you guys handle absolutely everything on your own. You play mom and dad, and I'm sure that gets really frustrating from time to time. And to you, I want to say it's okay to not be okay. To working moms, working parents that don't feel like you have enough time for your friends, your family, your kids. How am I going to do it all, right? It's okay to not be okay. That's the recurring theme and the message I feel compelled to give you guys this week. Rocking the Maryland Len Bias jersey, going a little different this week, and also wearing the Denver Nuggets hat because it's the only thing that I could find that I felt like matched the red. So that's the reason for the outfit this week. With that being said, the focus of this week's message again is it's okay to not be okay. And I'm just going to take a second or two to kind of compose my thoughts on the next piece of it. We'll go into kind of what verses I'm looking at, what thoughts are in my head, and kind of how I am trying to fix it, how we fix it. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take just a second, guys. Okay, so we're back, and I think that I know how I've kind of fixed myself and these problems I'm having, and maybe this would work for you too if you guys feel the same way. I feel like the biggest way to fix the things that we mess up is to first admit that that's okay, that we're human beings, that everyone makes mistakes, and yeah, we had a bad day, we had some bad lapses in judgment, whatever the case may be. The first step is admitting that, you know what, I'm not perfect, I screwed up, and ask for forgiveness if that's something you can do, or even just explain why you're feeling the way you're feeling. One of the Bible verses that caught my eye this week is Proverbs, and that's chapter 3, verses 5 through 6. Trust in the Lord your God and lean not only on your own understanding. That was huge for me this week. If you're feeling that you're letting people down, that things aren't working out the way you want them to, maybe look up that verse. because God will make your path straight if you go to him and you say, look, I'm struggling. This is not going well, right? If you go to him and you lay it at him, he will go ahead and make your path straight. The second Bible verse that I want to talk to you guys about is Matthew 18 through 20. And that is, for where 2 or 3 gather, I am there. I am in their midst. I am in their presence. That is just an awesome thing to think about, to rest in, to dwell in. If you are struggling and you know somebody that you can reach out to and say, hey, I'm not okay. Is there anything you can do to help? Would you pray with me? Whatever the approach is that you take with them. Where 2 or more are gathered, I am in their presence, meaning God, meaning Jesus. And that is just such an awesome feeling for me that I wanted to share that with you guys. So how we kind of fix what happened, right? The first thing, in my opinion, guys, is to invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Say to yourself, hey, I'm not okay, and think about what you need to have, what you need to do to be able to fix yourself. Because if you're not the best version of yourself, how can you give your best to other people, to those that love you, to those that deserve your best, whether they're family members, co-workers, friends? They deserve your best. How can you give it to them if you haven't taken time to invest in yourself? That's a really hard thing to do. Also, invest in your relationships. I shared with you guys where I failed this week. My wife's birthday was this week, and I just did not handle it very well. She had a horrible day, and that was in part, if not all, because of me, right? And to be able to admit that and look back on it and say, you know what? If I would have just told her, this is how I'm feeling. Everything I'm working for right now is hard. Even the one thing that I fall back on, which is my bowling, which has always been fairly easy for me, even that's hard this week. So it's difficult, those are difficult things. And instead of letting them manifest, what I should have done is went to my wife and said, hey, this is what's going on with me. It has nothing to do with you, so that you understand. Because had I done that, she could have helped me a lot more through that than I chose to let her. And, for me, the eye-opener this week was when you admit that life is hard, that things are hard, that circumstances are hard, it's like a weight is lifted off of your shoulders. Instead of feeling like I have to do all this myself, when you admit that it's hard and don't just put off to the side when someone says, hey, I'm impressed with how you're doing. This is cool, but it's hard. If you brush that off like I did, that's where it's really hard to move forward. So for me, admitting that things are hard right now was the best possible thing that I could do. And it made me realize and want to deliver this message to you guys so that if things are hard for you, talk to somebody. Go to somebody and say, hey, maybe they've dealt with it in the past. Hey, is this something you've dealt with? How, what advice do you have for me? If you're not comfortable doing that with a friend or family member, there's numbers you can call. There's things that you can do. There's online chats you can go into. But I got lucky this week because with the help of my wife and actually my boss, I was able to realize that, you know what? The reason I went sideways or backwards is because I wasn't allowing myself to admit that things were hard, and I internalized that into frustration. So I'm sharing this with you guys because I don't want you to feel like you can't tell somebody. Find somebody you trust, reach out, whether it's online, in person. Take care of your business, guys, because the moral of the story is if you can't invest in yourself, then you can't invest fully in others who want it, need it, deserve it, whatever the case may be. So that being said, that's the message for this week, guys. The Bible verses again were Proverbs 3:5-6 and Matthew 18 to 20. So that's the message for this week. If you guys want me to lift up anybody in prayer, pray for anybody this week, leave it in the comments. Let me know what you think, what you like, what you dislike, and we'll see you guys with the next message. Thanks.